What's up, Internet? nerdlocker.com here with this week's comic book reviews. And I'm starting off with the long-anticipated, once moved back, Forever Evil #7! This has been a great series. This sets up for a lot, which is really cool for a DC book, because I feel like that's usually Marvel's thing, and that's kind of why their stuff got played out. But you do get an ending to this story with a couple little tiny loose ends with other characters and a big setup for the future. There's not really anything big going on right now. If you would like to see the next chapter, though, check out Justice League 30. That's I'm also reviewing that. But this is great. We kind of see what the plans are for Dick Grayson now that everyone knows who he is and what's going on. We get to see what happens to each member of the remaining syndicate, which is cool. I like that some of them are still around. I'm not going to say what happens to everyone individually, but some of them are still around, some of them are other places, some of them just things happen. I'm not going to be a spoiler guy right now. But it's really cool what they set up for. I'm stoked for the DC Universe, which is something I didn't think I'd be saying, because I still kind of miss the classic Justice Society and all the things about the comics that I grew up with. But they really have some awesome things planned in the DC Universe. This book is really cool. We really get to see Lex Luthor do things that you've always known he's kind of this person, but you really get to see him in this. And I enjoyed that a lot. That's all I'm going to say without giving anything away. This was a good ending to a good first event for this universe, the New 52 universe. I loved it. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Let me know what you guys thought.
Hey guys, Invincible 111 comes out this week, and if you were not hooked on this arc yet, this is the one that'll do it to you. If you don't know, in the last issue, there was a whole bunch of Viltrumite rape, which I don't want to go into because it was weird, but in this issue it picks up with the fight between Super Mecha Robot against Invincible, and everybody gets their shining moment in this issue. It is one of the biggest issues of the arc, probably the biggest one so far. Someone dies in this issue. A big character in the Invincible universe dies in this issue, and I question myself whether he could really be dead, but the way he died, yeah, there's no way he's coming back, and I just revealed it was a he. I'm sorry about that, but going forward, this book is excellent. It's probably my favorite one in the new 100 arcs, so I'm of course going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Ryan Ottley is awesome. Robert Kirkman shines the most on this book. I'm so glad he's still writing this and hasn't passed it on. And of course, like I said, Ryan Ottley is ever amazing. John Roush is doing the colors again. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but you are my favorite colorist. I love when you color this book. So 5 out of 5 all around. You guys have to be reading this book, so check it out.
All right, guys, so I got to read Thor, God of Thunder, number 22. This is the 4th part and the second to last of the end of Days of Midgard, the last days of Midgard, which has been, so far, an amazing story. Old Galactus, old Thor pretty much fighting global warming and evil oil companies. It's just an awesome mix of environmentalism and Thor coolness and Marvel fighting and big crazy stories, and then you get Galactus and old Thor throwing down in the far-flung future. And this week, a lot of books definitely ended. There's a lot of big books this week, and they all ended with these huge jaw-dropping cliffhangers. And if you've been enthralled within this Thor series, if you've really been following it, it'll pay off for you so hard. This is one of the harder ones, I feel, compared to what came out in Original Sin and Forever Evil came out this week. So that's pretty awesome. Other than that, the story's moving along really, really well. I like that they're picking up certain, not even threads. I thought they completely buried certain things, but they're coming back, and it gives a sense of if you follow this, with an older Marvel story, you follow it for years, and then finally something comes out of nowhere. I feel like this is doing the same thing, and it's giving you that feel again. So being that it's a Jason Aaron book and he rocks, I'm gonna give this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. And the art is amazing, and everything about this book is perfect.
Hey there, nerds. Jim here with my comic book reviews this week. And first up, I have Unity #7. Love this book from the start. Matt Kent is an amazing writer. I love what he's doing with these characters. If you haven't read this book yet, go back and start from the beginning, because his introduction to the original team is fantastic, and how the current team comes together is even better. We're still working with Silk and all the clones, and the zombie is not really a disease, but the disease is claims his first victims on a plane flight that Eric, Exo-Man of War, has to take care of. Probably my favorite line of the whole book is somebody tells Eric he's got to go report to his new boss, which cracks me up because it's like, how are you going to tell one of the most powerful beings on the planet, you have a new boss, go report to them? And that made me laugh. I think if I was Eric, I would have given him the middle fingers that I'll do what I want to do. But they're still going after Silk. A lot of intrigue, a lot of espionage. They don't know what's going on. And what's great is, this is what I love about Matt Kint's writing, and I really like Valiant, how they do this most of the time. It's not the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong twists. It's really layer upon layer that our heroes don't necessarily know what's going on, but they think they do. So there's going to be a huge realization that they're screwed. Love this book. Highly recommend you read it. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, I got to read Justice League number 30. If you haven't read Forever Evil 7 yet, don't read this. Read that first, then read this. If you haven't been reading Forever Evil, then you'll catch up in this. But the Justice League is going to be different. There's some things that are going to happen in this book here that were definitely things I wouldn't expect to be seeing in a Justice League book. Lex Luthor, this is a spoiler. I have to just explain this because it's going to be what the book's about. So fast forward a little bit. I'm just going to say right now, move ahead now. Lex Luthor has saved the world from this crime syndicate. He's the hero that everyone is loving, and he's decided that makes him a member of the Justice League. Builds a new satellite, basically says like, hey guys, I'm part of the team now. And they even put Wonder Woman's lasso on him. And he's like, yeah, I'm an egomaniac, but this is what I want. I want to save the world. This is what I want to do now. So I feel like there's some big things that are going to happen here. It's definitely a Lex Luthor in a light we haven't seen. But he is Lex Luthor, so we might still have some tricks up his sleeve. There might be stuff you're not seeing that we're going to see down the line here. But either way, I'm really excited for this direction. I think it's neat. And there's a little back couple pages that also set up for another kind of story coming out, which I'm really excited to see, having to do with Batman, having to do with one of the last pages of Forever Evil. So check it out. Let me know what you thought. I'm giving this 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I got to do The Witcher number 3 this week as well. Now, I had to go back and read 1 and 2 just to kind of catch up. I wanted to do it anyways because I kind of missed out on the first 2 to begin with. And I'm not too familiar with the video game lore world of it, so I came at it as a comic book, as what I know and kind of exploring a new world. And on that aspect of it, I feel it was a really good book. I feel it handled it really well. You don't have to know too much. You just kind of know that this dude hunts monsters. He is magical. It's a crazy, like, medieval world. So, you know, you just go with it. It's like a really, 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 really dark Game of Thrones, which is saying something because it's already kind of dark. But anyways, it plays out really, really well. Geralt, the Witcher, is kind of just going through. And the best part about it was it's not just action and fighting and craziness. It starts off with a little bit of it, but it's more of a cool character piece where these people are actually talking and you're seeing how they are, and this dude is a Witcher. He has a certain way about him, and he goes about his life a certain way. And the people he interacts with, they actually are kind of not really well drawn out and fleshed out, but they have something there, which I feel might be something like the game. I'm not sure though, and I do want to get into that just in case it is the case. But going back to the book, the one thing I felt was the artwork was a little weird at the beginning. It was a little like kind of dirty, not as good as I like it to be. I mean, I kind of read the last couple of weeks I've been reading a lot of really well-drawn books, and this one wasn't as well-drawn, but eventually it started to fit with everything, and if it was drawn any other way, I don't think it would have worked that well. So I like that about it. The way they introduced magical and monsters, I should say, was really interesting and really cool, and I want to know more about it. I kind of feel like I'm missing out on a lot, not knowing the lore, but it makes you want to get into it a little bit. So I'm definitely stoked for that. I'm going to give it 3.5 Nerd Skulls.
So next, I got to read Star Wars, Darth Maul, #1. I love Star Wars, but sometimes their comics, I'm not a big fan because they introduce all new characters in an arena. I have no idea what's going on. and I don't think they do a great deal doing that. What's perfect about this one is they set up Darth Maul after the events that took place in the Clone Wars, where Darth Sidious came in and basically effed his shit up and killed his brother. We never knew what happened to him in the Clone Wars. So what's cool is, and this is the animated series, what's cool is now we see he's imprisoned and Darth Sidious is taking care of business and he's got him locked up. But there are factions that are still loyal to Darth Maul, which is amazing to me, but it's really cool because if you remember from the animated series, he had the Pikes and the Sun Empire really on his side. The Hutts, as they do, changed their mind and went their own way. But it involves the Mandalorians, which I love. I love their whole storyline. And I'm not talking Boba Fett in Mandalorian armor. I'm talking about the actual Mandalorians that they introduced in the animated series. I love where this is going. There's clearly going to be a big battle between Darth Sidious and the forces that are following Darth Maul. And it's just this classic tale of Darth Sidious. He keeps having an apprentice, and then apprentice gets killed off, and usually he has a hand in killing him off, a la Count Dooku in Revenge of the Sith. So I'm curious how this is going to come and bite him in the butt. It has to, a little bit at the very least. I highly recommend you check it out. It's a great first issue for introduction and all that stuff in the Star Wars universe. I'm going to go ahead and give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, I got to read Future's End number 3. And once again, so far so good in this weekly series. I mean, it's only 3 issues, but so far, everything seems pretty cool. We get to see more of Grifter's story and what he's about, why he's doing what he's doing. And we get to see kind of Batman, Terry McGinnis Batman, kind of planning, you know, doing his thing to figure out what he has to do now that he's in our future, his past. Firestorm is nuts. Being Ronnie Raymond is kind of losing it. He's keeping Jason trapped inside of him so he can't tell everyone that he's the reason Green Arrow's dead, which is kind of really messed up. Like, I'm kind of getting a creepy vibe from that story, and I'm wondering how they're going to pull it through 52 issues. But, I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to get weird, but I feel like there's some big stuff happening there. We catch a little bit of Lois's story, and I feel like that's going to be the big main focus of the next issue, about who gave her some stuff and who she's meeting up with, which is really cool. I'm really excited to see this because he's one of my favorite characters in the DCU, and I want to see what has happened to him in the last 5 years. So either way, you guys should be picking this up. It's weekly. It's easy to stay up with. And it gives you a reason to go to your comic book store every week. You should be going there every week. So I'm giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I got to read Original Sin number 2 as well this week. And we do get some answers as to what's going on, the mystery characters, yada, yada, yada. If you guys read the first issue, you kind of know where I'm going with it. But it's pretty awesome just what they're trying to do, and the team-ups. Doctor Strange and Punisher are a team-up I never thought I'd see, and I really don't even like Punisher that much, but they were just really cool, and Punisher totally was my favorite character within it. I feel like it has a lot of great moments like that. Dr. Banner and Tony Stark interacting with each other and trying to figure out what the hell's going on, who killed the Watcher. And it has a great last page with someone who you probably don't know. I'm actually surprised I had no idea who this person was or anything about him. But I mean, they even kind of admitted that you're not supposed to. So that was really sweet. I love the twist that it took. It wasn't a lot. It was a lot of building up in the story. There was a big cool battle sequence, and I mean, all the Avengers show up, which is really sweet. And that's what you want in an event book. But it's the second issue, and it's still going full steam ahead, and I can't wait. But it was a little too quick. It was a little too quick. So I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Might be a little harsh on it, but damn, was it a good book. Great book.
So I also got to read Brain Boy number 1. I had no interest in reading this. It just came across our list. And I looked up the writer, Fred Van Lent, who I'm a huge fan of with his work of Archer and Armstrong. So I'm like, okay, cool. Different company. This one's Dark Horse, but I'll give it a try. Main character's Matt Price. And I'm totally unfamiliar with this. I'm not sure if this is a series that had been and now it's back or what have you. So I'm not sure. If it is, go ahead and comment below. But he's a psychic wonderkin. That's how he's described. And he was brought up by Albright Industries. That's how he was raised and learned how to use his powers and all that wonderful stuff. And we start with the White House under siege. And it's an awesome battle. It doesn't last long, but it's cool because you see the Secret Service trying to do their best to stop this superhuman, for lack of a better description, and they're not successful. But before anything happens, we cut to sort of, you know, I think it was 72 hours earlier or something, and we get some backstory on Matt Price. And there's a lot of humor in here, and that's what I really like about Fred's writing. And it's from like a dude's perspective on how a dude might use his special abilities on a woman. And it was very simple. It's not that devious. It was as simple as the woman kept reminding him that he needs to do this, do this, do this, and he wiped her brain that even existed. I thought that was hilarious. That's funny to me. But then he told the truth and got in trouble anyway, so that's where he made the mistake. But I like that kind of humor, and it shows, hey, we're all fallible even if we have these special powers. But then we get right back into the action. We introduce some really, really interesting characters. I like this story so far, but the second half of the book I felt wasn't nearly as interesting as the first half, which is sort of dangerous with the number one, because you really want to get us in, and then you want to get us to reading the second book. And other than Fred writing it right now, I'd be like, I'm not sure. I'm going to check out number two, because again, I'm a big fan of Fred. I really like the introduction, but we'll see. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and give this one 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls, but check out number 2 and we'll see what happens.
All right, I got to read Amazing Spider-Man number 2. That's 2 for those of you who don't speak Spanish. And so far, so good on the Peter Parker boat of Spider-Man. But man, things are messed up. And I kind of thought this is exactly what Marvel was doing when they brought Doc Ock in. Is when you got Peter Parker back, there were going to be a lot of problems. The first one is he's dating a woman that he doesn't know who she is really. I mean, he knows who she is, but he hasn't been dating her. Doc Ock has, and he lays it out in this issue. She handles it in her way. You'll see when you read it. It was really cool. And we get to see some things with Electro and just kind of the future of what Peter Parker was going to be doing now that he has his own company, now that he has a doctor, and just the things he's trying to make best of the situation he's been dealt. He has a good talk with the Human Torch, Captain America, because they're both people that have been out of time for quite some time. And yeah, it's great. I like this series a lot. I really can't wait to see what they do with this other web slinger person, because I really want to see what that's about. I know it's going to be soon, but I kind of want it now. Either way, I'm giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Let me know what you guys thought.
So finally, I got to read MPH number 1 by Mark Millar. I'll be honest, this didn't read like most of the Mark Millar books I'm used to, and I don't want to say this is a knock, but it was a pleasant surprise. I didn't even realize it was him until at the end when I looked up who wrote this. It's a very interesting start to a story, and then we're back in 1960, and we just see this dude raising hell. I don't want to say on purpose, but like this whole city gets destroyed, and it's not like buildings fall. It's like basically in the middle of nowhere. And roads are destroyed, you know, yards are destroyed. And then all of a sudden he's like, okay, take me in. And you're like, what is going on? Cut to present day, and this just, he's got a very positive attitude, but man, is this guy down on his luck. Ends up in prison. It was obviously his fault, trusted the wrong people, but weird circumstances, he ends up with the drug, MPH, no idea what is going on. His world obviously has changed like that. And we have a nice little twist tie-in at the end to what happened in the beginning of the story. I really recommend you check it out. There's a lot of intrigue already, a lot of, man, what is going on in this story? The characters are really great. I like how it's going. And again, like I said, it didn't strike me as your typical Mark Millar story, which I really, really enjoyed. I would highly recommend you pick this up. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, I got to read Magneto number 4. And I want to start off by saying that I don't know if you're still calling him a villain or an anti-hero or whatever they're making him out to be, but a character like Magneto, we've seen villains and anti-heroes have their own books in the past. This is the way it needs to be written. This book is outstanding, and it's only 4 issues in. We're seeing Magneto be Magneto. He's not pulling punches. He's not, you know, trying to be a better person. He's out to find people who are killing mutants. And I love, there were none in this issue, but he talks about it, but I really like the Holocaust flashbacks, you know, just things he had to do to overcome to be who he is now, like the things he had to go through, and how being a mutant, he still sees a lot of that today. And this is exactly what I want to see. I know, you know, DC's done it with villains getting books and stuff, but I always feel like they kind of hold back and, you know, kind of give it other dilemmas. But he's fighting people that are messing with his race of people, and he's handling it like the Magneto we've read in the comic books, you know, that we've grown up with, that we know. He's not, you know, building a company or doing all these other things. He's murdering these people because they're murdering mutants, and it's outstanding. This is exactly what I want from a character like this. This is exactly what I want from a book like this. I just hope it keeps up, and I hope enough people jump on board with this so it doesn't get canceled. Because right now, this book is outstanding. Keep it up, Marvel. Getting a thumbs up and 5 out of 5 nerd skulls for me.